Hello everybody, welcome back to the Ropatopolis Show. I just wanted to come back and touch base on some of the things that I said yesterday that upset some people and kind of elaborate on some of my thoughts and respond to some of the things that people are saying most frequently in response to that video. Plus I have some Brotherhood gameplay to share, so this seemed like a good vehicle for that. So let me start off by reminding you of a few things up top, a few disclaimers if you will, to keep in mind, some perspective I guess. This channel is an Assassin's Creed Parkour channel, and the people that watch my videos frequently are fans of Assassin's Creed Parkour. So when new gameplay comes out for a new Assassin's Creed game, I don't think it's a crime to talk about the parkour or lack thereof displayed in a trailer and share my concerns about a mechanic that I see having a detrimental effect on the way the game is played. I also want to clarify that me nor any of my parkour friends believed that Shadows would be a revolutionary game for parkour. We always knew this was going to be the next RPG game, but it's still an Assassin's Creed game. A franchise built with parkour is one of the main features. And after years and years of criticism about the dwindling state of movement in the series and talk of a new engine being introduced for this game after using the same mediocre one for 4 games in a row, and now after a recent attempt of refocusing the series on parkour with Mirage, it's hard to not set some slight expectations, at least for me, or have some hopes that we might see something that looks promising as far as movement. Let me also remind you that I am a modern parkour optimist, and I woke up yesterday and began setting the stage to make an entirely different video for the gameplay that was released. I was fully prepared to talk about the things that I did like about Shadows Parkour, but the problem is that we were given literally nothing good to talk about. And it pains me to bring you bad news. Trust me, nobody wanted parkour to be great in this game more than me. But currently all signs are pointing to that just not being the case. I think I can confidently say that no one on this earth has put more effort into making AC Mirage Parkour look as good as it possibly could than I have, and after the gameplay reveal for Mirage, the narrative around it was horrible, but I didn't let that deter me because I was willing to look past the things I didn't like to see a world that was decorated with things to climb on, and that gave me hope. But this time around, I don't see anything to smile about when I look around. It looks nice, but not for parkour. All this being said, I must inform you that I do plan on buying this game, and I promise to try my hardest to squeeze every drop of movement out of it that I can, the same way I did with Mirage. But in the meantime, there are some major red flags that I think are worth talking about. So let's go over some of the things I said yesterday and address some stuff that you guys were saying, and I'll try my best to be as fair as I can about this. So a lot of people are saying it's too early to make judgments about movement in this game based on what we've seen, and that is not true. There are a few dead giveaways in the short bit of movement that we have seen that tell us exactly what we're going to be getting here. I think the very biggest problem with the foundation of this game is that it appears to be the very heavy, clunky Valhalla movement. We were kind of teased by Ubisoft when they announced this new Anvil pipeline engine or whatever, that we would see something new this time around instead of the same mediocre foundation we've had for the last 4 games, with Mirage being a highly buffed version of it. But this time around you can tell it's not even the Mirage version. The jumps look identical to Valhalla, and it doesn't even have the justification of being attached to a Viking character to excuse it. You can't get away with this kind of heaviness for a female shinobi character. At the very least, I would expect to see Basim's far lighter and quicker jumps here, and to reserve this heavy movement for Yasuke. That way, even if the world is barren of parkourable architecture, you would at least be able to use height-gaining ejects, for example, if an opportunity were to present itself, but all of those improvements from Mirage are gone. With Valhalla's movement system, we're going back to no height-gaining ejects. Not only will all the parkour improvements added with Mirage's parkour update be missing, but the movement will be slower and clunkier than Mirage was at launch, which is not very Ninja Fantasy-like if you ask me. I think the bad movement is best demonstrated in this short clip where we see 2 very clunky heavy jumps and then this flip, which I can't really seem to wrap my head around. I mean, we're not pretending that this flip looks good, right? I see a lot of people talking about how the kind of architecture necessary for Assassin's Creed Parkour is just not possible in Japan, and I think that's kind of a silly thing to say. Ubisoft has been inserting parkourable architecture into Assassin's Creed games for almost 17 years. They've done it successfully in at least 10 different games, across different time periods, cultures, and architectural styles. If they wanted to make Japan a wonderland for parkour, they certainly could. Sure, it might be more difficult than some other settings, but from what we've seen so far, they haven't even tried. And like I said before, they don't even have to try when they can make every piece of architecture interactable by grappling hook, entirely removing the parkour element as we know it from the game. This is exactly why they added the zipline launcher to Syndicate, to be used as a crutch between the player and their environment because the architecture of the city is not built well enough for movement. and I have no reason to believe that this hook will be any different. And now that we've seen what appears to be Valhalla's movement systems, even if they were to stack this environment with tons of cool stuff to climb on, it would be depressing to navigate. Now, I'm the first to admit of being an OG parkour fanboy, and I think the original system is the best and nothing else has ever come close to that. That being said, I'm not totally stuck in the past. I'm most known for my AC Mirage videos, but I would like to use some AC1 gameplay here to demonstrate the opposite philosophy to parkour and give you a visual example of why this grappling hook is so offensive to me. See, in AC1 we have this slow climbing animation. It's not great, but it's not supposed to be great. It's basically a punishment for poor pathing. If you don't use the architecture in your area to your advantage, your efficiency and movement plummets. But if you look around at your surroundings and use the techniques provided by the game, you can reach your destination much faster by using your brain and knowledge of the game's mechanics instead of a one-size-fits-all single button press that attaches you directly to the roof. This is the very foundation of movement philosophy in Assassin's Creed, and I understand that things have changed a lot throughout the course of this series, but this type of movement is what made Assassin's Creed special to so many people. And throughout the years and years of slowly burning these philosophies and eventually all but throwing them in the trash, it's very sad to see how fans of the series who weren't around back then see a wall-run grappling hook-to-roof combo as a non-issue, when in reality, it absolutely spits on everything this series is built upon. This is why we don't trust Ubisoft to remake AC1 faithfully. They don't understand what it is. I'm really sorry to have to make these videos. If you're a regular viewer of mine, you know that I'm lighthearted and silly and stupid, and I don't want to complain about shit. But I feel like this is a serious issue for movement and will have devastating, long-lasting effects on the future of the series the same way Unity has, but that's a story for another day to be told by someone far more intelligent than I am. I think I'm definitely going to have my work cut out for me with the AC Shadows parkour showcases, but by God, I'm going to try my dangest to put the best freaking parkour together that you've ever seen. And, you know, there are some promising aspects to the game. I don't want to completely, I am kind of completely tearing it down, but the stealth looks fine so long as it's not held back by, a devastatingly shallow parkour, which it probably will be, so you know what I mean? I don't know. Anyways, enjoy some classic gameplay. Stick around for a couple minutes if you'd like. If not, whatever. I'll see you later.
What's here? Faster! Has he been away?